Hello viewers, Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. How are we all today, this evening, wherever you are in the world? I hope that the holidays have been kind to you. I hope that you had a lovely Christmas. I hope that you will have a wonderful new year. And my blessings for 2020 for you and for your families. Okay, so I wanted to take a look at 2020 in some detail. I feel that we are moving to a pivotal point where we have choices to make. And of course, I keep drawing the crossroads card, that Two of Wands. The choice is still ours, which is good to hear. Now, the world has been fairly tumultuous over the last 12 months. 2019 hasn't been an easy year for some. For many, I would say. And we've witnessed a lot of cruelty and a lot of unfairness and a lot of injustice and a lot of inequality and a lot of the things that we thought we would never see, we've seen. Now, the question is, why is this happening and where is it all leading us? So let's take a good look at that. We've had major world changes. We've had Boris Johnson and his Tory party winning the UK election, and of course steering the good ship that is the UK toward an inevitable, what would appear to be an inevitable parting of the ways with the European Union that will remake the landscape, perhaps not in the first 12 months, but beyond. We still have President Trump, who has been impeached in the House in the US, and a fairly bitter and partisan division in the United States of America. And of course, those of you who are familiar with my Trump readings understand that I'm no fan of Donald Trump. So don't expect me to be, if I look at him in this 2020 reading, perhaps this reading's not for you. And then I want to look across at Russia. Russia continues to build its nuclear arsenal. It leads, or it says it's leading in many of those. Look, I wouldn't. Are they arms races? I guess they are. I also want to look at the EU, stability within the EU. I also want to go to Australia. My country has been absolutely critically impacted, significantly impacted by fires in this summer season. They are calling them, devastating fires. Will Australia recover? And what can we expect as the summer proceeds into 2020? I also want to take a look at hate speech, whether or not social media will continue to be self-regulated or regulated by law. Will hate speech, will this bitter division between left and right continue into 2020? Let's start with some overall messages from Spirit, from the Aboriginal Spirit Oracle by Mel Brown. I'll then be using my Light Seers Tarot and my SpellCasters deck for those that are interested in the decks that I'm using. Let's start, though, with three general messages from Spirit for 2020. What are the general messages for the collective Spirit in 2020? What are the general messages for Spirit, from Spirit, for the collective in 2020? General messages 2020. All right, let's see what we've pulled. So, frustration. This continual loop, and unfortunately I did get that feeling that when I asked that question, it was a very busy, chaotic environment that I've got, and it seems like we're going in circles, doesn't it? And a lot of us are frustrated as we move into 2020. I wish I could promise you, roses, but we've got this continual loop of things. Unfortunately, there is turmoil as well, because when you have these chaotic conditions, when you have the kind of leadership that is talking up this division, there is and there will be turmoil, chaos in the world. The message, though, from Spirit, and this is why I do what I do, because even though we get cards like this, we also get a possible solution. Connectivity. What is connectivity to? Connectivity to the land, connectivity to each other, connectivity to the divine. And what we have on the bottom is something that is very simple. We have friendship and the hands of friendship. So, in order to counteract, if you like, or some ways forward for us, is to remember that we're all connected in every way. We're all part of the collective. What affects one affects the other. And extend the hand of friendship. I talked about hate speech just before I opened up for this reading. You know, I do feel that we have a very polarized earth at the moment, and we are spinning in this loop, but something does have to give. Will that occur in 2020? Let's find out. Okay, that was the Aboriginal Spirit Oracle from Mel Brown. Let's move though to the Light Seers Tarot. It's a very pretty deck. It's a new deck. And let's start off with the US. We'll go and look at what's in store for Donald Trump in 2020. What's in store for Donald Trump in 2020? When I tuned into this reading, it was almost like there was something being passed. There was a shadow moving away from your Statue of Liberty. I'm not sure whether that means Trump will lose office or will be impeached and removed from office. I think that's a long shot. But I've always seen him being removed from office. I hope that my intuition is right in that regard. Let's have a look at what's in store. We'll ask a general question though. What's in store for Donald Trump in 2020? What's in store for Donald Trump in 2020? There is judgment going to be passed, I feel. Whether that is at election time or not, I don't know. We've got the whistleblower here, the Page of Cups. It is only a page though, so there is healing there, but it needs to grow, is what I'm feeling from that card. The challenge is unfortunately loss. So I'm seeing also that the economy will actually force people into a bit of a reality check with Donald Trump in 2020. There is loss here. So it's a tenuous slope, I feel, at the moment, while ever Donald Trump is in power. We've got the Ace of Pentacles as the foundation of this reading, or as the strength of this reading, something within someone's hands, something within someone's grasp. What is within someone's grasp, that is a new start. Will Donald Trump win the election, or will a Democratic candidate win? Will Donald Trump be removed prior to that election for high crimes and misdemeanors? These are the questions that this card poses. The choice is still ours, and I felt that very, very strongly when I opened up this reading. The Two of Cups in the past, this is coming together. This is joining. This is the Five of Cups in the past. This is actually loss. This is actually spilt cups. America underneath his stewardship has faced loss in many regards. If you look down at the individual level, I think you'll find the answer. The individual majority level, the individuals that make up the majority have faced loss under this president. There are two cups remaining though, and the challenge is to look at those two cups. We've got this Ace of Pentacles here, so the choice is still within our hands. The Seven of Swords. Look, there is deception as a potential future in this reading. I asked, show me what's in store for Donald Trump. Now that deception, that Seven of Swords, could be Donald Trump trying to perpetuate some more deception in what we've seen in Ukraine. He could go that one step further. It could be really what is being done at all time. It could be the Senate trial. It could also be, and this is what my one of my images led me to believe, it could also be that he will be the subject of some sort of deception. Because we've got the Nine of Swords, this reading, what's in store for Donald Trump. We've got the Nine of Swords, fairly heavy anxiety in this card. It's a mental, as with most readings of this particular card, it is a mental anguish that is being described here. The Seven of Wands, he will have to continue to defend himself. At this point, he is standing his ground. The environment around this, what is he defending himself from? We've got the globe here. It's depicting the Empress, which is my card for Russia, but it's also what he has done and what he is doing on the world stage with his foreign policy. This is Ukraine. Ukraine will continue to dog him in 2020. The Five of Wands in the hopes and fears. This is this partisanship. So there will be more of this. So if we thought it was going to let up in 2020, or at least in the first part of 2020, we've got a continuation of the energies that we closed down in 2019. However, we have the Eight of Cups. Now, if I had $1 for every time I pulled this card for Donald Trump, really this is him turning his back and walking away, or his party turning their back on him and moving on from him. This is a new dawn here as well. Let's pull some clarifiers. We do have the Devil. This is this toxicity as well, a toxic atmosphere that exists in the US at the moment. And we have the Ten of Wands. Something coming to a completion. This person is leaving. Let's have a look a little bit more closely at this Eight of Cups. Tell me, this is loss for Donald Trump, but how is that going to magnify? How is that going to manifest, I should say? Tell me about the Eight of Cups for Donald Trump. Loss, walking away, literally losing the election. Tell me about this Eight of Cups, Spirit. Okay, so we've got the Eight of Wands. I feel that there is going to be more information coming forward, information that perhaps he has wanted to hide in the past will come forward. And once it does start to come forward, a lot of it will come forward very, very quickly. And we've got the Eight of Swords. This is a restriction here for him, almost being bound and gagged. These aren't good cups for Donald. Good cups. Well, literally, these aren't good cards for Donald Trump. One more. Yeah, he's going to be stopped in some way. He's going to face quite significant loss in 2020. You've seen these cards. And he's going to be stopped, restricted. There is loss here on the horizon in 2020 for him. Let's hope it is packing his bags and leaving. People are generally, I feel, have had enough of this toxicity. Donald Trump, what I'm feeling from this deception card, yes, this is the deception that he may do, the damage that he will continue to do while he's in office, but I also feel this is people deceiving him as well. Okay, so he could find that he doesn't have the support at a critical moment that he thinks he does. Is that in the Senate trial? Perhaps not. Is that through another piece of legislation? Perhaps the Republican Party will stand up to him in some way. Will he lose the 2020 election? I'm going to look at that. We had a fairly well-known psychic in the UK predicting that he will win. I've never ever seen that in all the readings that I've done on Trump, in all the times that I've asked, what is his future? I have always seen loss for him. I have always pulled that Eight of Cups. Now, is that him walking away before the election, or is that a few months later, him losing the election. We are so close to that final moment now. Let's have a look. Will Donald Trump, let's ask, will Donald, to be fair, let's ask, will Donald Trump win? Will Donald Trump win the election in 2020 if he is still there? Will Donald Trump win the 2020 election if he's still there? Will Donald Trump win? Okay, so we've got a 5 of Swords here that has jumped out. That is an abuse of power. So, yeah, I've never felt he would be removed from office by the Senate, but I haven't, I'll update that at a later time. Let's just concentrate on the election. Will Donald Trump win the 2020 election? Will Donald Trump win the 2020 election? Okay, so we've got the Chariot card, things moving fairly quickly, challenged by the world. So challenged by endings, beginnings, major arcana here, major arcana. The way that I read this is that his ending is going to be fairly swift. Now, will that happen before the election? I don't know. We've asked the question in relation to will he win or lose. We've got the Wheel of Fortune, so 3 major arcanas here already, something turning in somebody's favour, but I'm not going to jump the gun here. This is a karmic destiny, but there is an ending and a new beginning demonstrated here in the challenge position. So, you know, normally I guess someone like Trump would have been on course to push his way through in whatever nefarious means to take another election, but he's being challenged by this world card. The Ace of Wands in the past position. This is around, I feel, the motivation for new starts. Whenever I do a reading on Trump, people are sick, and indeed that last reading, people are sick of the toxicity. Here is our Ace of Pentacles, new starts, 2 aces, all pointing to new starts. New starts for Trump. We've got the Empress. Okay, so sitting right next to the world policy, the world card. The Empress, abundance, things coming to fruition. We've got new starts here. What is right now? We've got the Lost card, which was in the past position, the 5 of Cups. The environment around working together. This can also be dark money in politics. So what has caused this loss? It is that. We've got deception in the fear position. That's not in the hopes position. That's in the fear position, that the electorate will be deceived in 2020. We've got the 10 of Pentacles. That is the Trump dynasty. This is also family legacies, savings, retirement. Let's have a look. 6 of Pentacles. Okay, so it looks like, again, I'm getting an indication that something around the Trump organisation will be revealed, and it will stop things in track with that Hanged Man. Underneath, we've got the Queen of Wands. This is a movement coming forward for new starts, and we've got the Star card, and we've got the 4 of Wands, reunions. That is my card for the Democratic Party. It looks like some information is going to come out before 2020 that will stop him in some way. Okay, or will cause people to think twice. Let's have a look. It's all around, again, the money with this Ace of Pentacles and 6 of Pentacles. 10 of Pentacles, my card for the Trump organisation, his legacy, receiving assistance from someone else, and the Hanged Man, something being stopped. Let's have a look at this 10 of Pentacles. 10 of Pentacles, 6 of Pentacles, the Hanged Man. Show me the 10 of Pentacles, please. Okay, the King of Cups, which is this new energy moving through. The 4 of Pentacles, disappointment, hanging on to insecurity, hanging on to information. Here is the disappointment card. All right, so it looks like one more, and the Page of Pentacles again. Indications that people will be disappointed by whatever news is coming out around around his loans, debts, around the Trump organisation and the money trail, it would appear that that will stop something in its tracks. So based on that, I feel that whatever is coming forward, whatever information, the Democratic Party are working hard to produce that information. We've got things before the Supreme Court, whether or not his taxes need to be revealed. He's been obstructing justice. It looks like that hanged man will dog Donald Trump into the 2020 election. All right, let's move now to Brexit. How will Brexit go? The Tory party now in power, leaving the EU on January the 31st. It will take another year or so after that to broker trade deals. So it may not be, it's not a hard Brexit by any means, but it is the beginning of the the disintegration, obviously, of the UK and its ties with the EU. England will probably be, the UK will probably be seeking to do a trade deal with the US. I think that's on the cards. Let's have a look. How will Brexit go post January the 31st? How will Brexit go? Okay, we have this Page of Cups coming in again. That is something very much in its infancy, challenged by the Ten of Pentacles in this challenge position. So there will be some gains, but with the Page, it's not going to be huge. The challenge is going to be money, and the challenge is going to be doing those trade deals. It's not going to be easy. The Hierophant card, a higher source, somebody else having the last say here. Is that the EU? We've got the Lovers. So again, as I said, almost like a divorce, a divorcing from the UK from the EU. Got the King of Swords here, objectivity, investigation. These are not the cards I expected to pull. The King of Swords is almost like protracted legal battles. Could dog any sort of separation of the UK from the EU. Now I've got the Six of Cups going back to the past, perhaps going back to the good old days, but it's going to not be without its legal challenges. The King of Pentacles in the here and now, business people, companies, industry. However, we've got the Three of Swords, which is loss, heartbreak and divorce. So I see here that the biggest outcome or the biggest impact of a Brexit now will be the loss of trade. We'll be trying to replace trade deals. I haven't got turmoil cards here, but I do recall the kind of cards I pulled at the beginning of this reading. The Nine of Cups in the hope position, wish fulfillment, things coming to fruition. We've got the Empress. Okay, the Empress is interesting because that is abundance on the world stage, but it's also my card for Russia. And because it's clarified by the Devil, I'm seeing some dark money here. So let me clarify that Empress card. Show me this Empress card. Dark money in politics. I keep coming back to it. Right now, I feel that there is loss already from Brexit for businesses. Now, I'm not on the ground in England, but I feel that we haven't had much reporting over the holiday period, but I feel that businesses are already losing. The challenge is those trade deals. There seems to be, as though it's going to be enmeshed in legal battles. This Hierophant is a higher authority as the foundation of this reading. Let's have a look at this Empress card. Show me the Empress card. Is the average person in the UK going to benefit from Brexit? The average person on the ground, not the oligarchy, the average person on the ground going to benefit from Brexit. Okay, so we've got strength and endurance. That's a good card to pull. And we've got the Six of Wands, victory. We've got the Page of Swords, some kind of truth coming out. These are, as I said, quite in a way confusing cards, because we've got abundance on the one hand, though we have that clarified by the Devil, which is greed and avarice, and then this Three of Pentacles, working together with somebody else. We have strength and endurance, we have the victory, and we have the Page of Swords. My cards always tell me another story. It's never cut and dried. It's never black and white. I feel this story is talking about Russian influence in Brexit. I feel let me just clarify this Page of Swords, which is some kind of information and truth coming out. Tell me about this Page of Swords. What is this? Why did it enter into the reading? We've got Russian money here in relation to this question. Show me this Page of Swords, Spirit, for the Brexit in after January the 31st. Okay, the Queen of Wands. Okay, so a plan, a movement, inspiration, passion for new starts. Okay, and the Star of Hope. All right, so it's not an easy read, this one. I'm feeling that there is information that will come out. People are not going to drop this, and there is some sort of new start coming along down the track, some way down the track. Because we've got the Star of Hope here, it's not going to manifest quickly. So it seems to me, again with this King of Swords, my card for Mother Russia, the Devil, and the Three of Pentacles. Right now we've got business winning, but we've also got a loss here as well. This is not an easy path for the UK. I feel that there is going to be some kind of investigation, something down the track. It's going to take some time for the truth to come out. The biggest challenge for the Brexit are those trade deals. There are going to be some winners and there are going to be some losers because this is a page. It's not a king. I feel that is not going to include everyone. This is loss here. We've got the King of Pentacles, which is the business person. The King is abundant, but clarified by the Three of Swords. So I'm feeling that, and we've got Russia in the frame as well. I'm feeling that it's not going to be as cut and dried as we think it might be, with that Six of Cups returning to the past, nostalgia. It's not as easy as that. It's not as easy as let's go back to the mighty empire that we once were. Okay, let's have a look at how. Let's move to the Spellcasters deck and let's have a look at the EU in 2020. Now, they will be negotiating with the UK. We've also got Scotland pushing for an independent vote. We have the US and the UK possibly doing a trade deal. Let's have a look at the EU in 2020. Show me the EU. Show me the EU in 2020. Let me just give these one more to shuffle. The EU. Show me the European Union. Now about to lose the UK. Lots of things are going to change. There is going to be loss for some. Okay, so show me the EU in 2020. Okay, so we've got this Six of Cups again, going back to the past, reunions with oneself as the signifier card, challenged by boundaries. Okay, boundaries, fatigue, things being tired, battle weary. Okay, so returning to more abundant times is currently challenged by Brexit for the EU. The foundation of the reading, unfortunately, is Russia. Russia came forward in the Brexit reading. I think we're going to hear a little bit more about the benefit for Russia in 2020 from Brexit. We've got a win here in the past, a victory for Brexit. The potential future, we've got somebody, the the King of Pentacles. So this is all around business. It's all around trade deals. It's all around commerce, defending oneself. So the trade, this is going to shake the trade environment, the world trade environment up. We've got Two of Swords, the Crossroads card, having to make decisions and compromise. The environment around is the Ace of Pentacles. This is showing me the negotiations, the trade negotiations with the UK. Yeah, and we've got the Death card endings here in the Fear position. The outcome, the EU is going to be, particularly with trade, with immigration, travel, all the things that Brexit will undo. We've got borders within the Irish Sea. This is walking a tightrope for the EU. However, that is clarified by commerce and trade. So this is, again, as it is with the UK, for the EU, they're going to need to step on the front foot. This is a rebuilding of foundations for the EU. Unfortunately, Russia is here in the mix. We have the Queen of Swords, objectivity, the truth coming out. We've got the Tower, unfortunately for EU, and we've got things coming forward fairly quickly, and then manifesting things into reality. I want to take a look at this Empress card. This is also abundance and the harvest. So there are reasonable signs, if I read these cards beyond their archetypes for Russia and for Donald Trump, for me, potential future is a win for industry. There is a foundation of potential abundance, but I take this card as because it came up in the Brexit reading as Russia here. Okay, so let's have a look. It is all about holding back the oligarchy, I guess. And Russia's aggression as well. However, this three of wands is commerce and expansion, perhaps waiting for one's ships to come through. The Eight of Pentacles indicates there's going to be a lot of work, hard work needed around trade, and to shore up those trade deals so that the EU is not impacted by the UK withdrawal. Show me this Empress card, please. Show me this Empress card. Okay, the Knight of Pentacles. Okay, this is a slow-moving knight, so it's showing me that with this Two of Pentacles, this Knight of Pentacles, and clarifying the Empress card, that it is going to take work and significant hard work to really stabilise the EU after the UK goes. It's not going to be straight away. There's going to be significant negotiations, legal battles to get through. It was always the Brexit, always a tower moment for both the UK and the EU. However, I'm encouraged by these two cards, which clarifies the Two of Pentacles, juggling in the short term, but in the longer term, this commerce and trade, rebuilding foundations through hard work, I think will leave the EU in a reasonably strong position. So both the EU and the UK got Six of Cups, going back to the past. So I guess the hints are there in history for both the UK and the EU. The hints are there in history. Will the EU hold is really the question, isn't it? I think it's going to be difficult for them throughout 2020. However, I feel a rebuilding from the foundations. So I'm going to say the EU will hold. Okay, so let's have a look at Russia. Russia, will it continue to build its nuclear weapons in 2020? I think that's a yes, obviously. Show me, does it have the capability to launch will it launch an aggressive action in 2020? What are Russia's plans with its arsenal, building its arsenal up? What are its plans in 2020? Continued expansion is what I'm feeling, making inroads into those territories. Its foreign policy is fairly aggressive, particularly in the Middle East and now in Africa. And with the UK out of the EU, Russia will be looking to do that trade as well. So it already trades with Germany. There is existing relationships. So there's an aggression here, I feel, with Russia. But let's go back to the original question. Show me Russia in 2020. Will it continue to expand its arsenal? Will it launch or do anything with its arsenal, its weaponry in 2020? I feel it will. I feel that there is something that it is going to do. We've got the Two of Hearts. This is the Lover's card. Okay, so look to Russia's alliances, current alliances and relationships. Who is Russia close to get a picture of how Russia might act in 2020. It is challenged by new starts, though. So the Lover's card is challenged by new starts. Okay, people moving on from the old ways. We've got the Queen of Wands. I love it when these cards come forward. This is the feminine rising. This is inspiration, passion for peace, moving on from the old patriarchal ways. To a certain extent, we already have this moving on, but this is an earth card as well. But in another way, this is populations relocating. So this is Syria, I feel, Russia's actions in Syria. There will be the Knight of Cups. There will be this... Russia is trying to position itself also at the same time that it's launching these aggressive moves. It's also trying to come forward and rebuild its reputation as well. We've got a plan that will mature in time. So if we don't see a launch in 2020, I feel that this is what it's leading up to. This is a deliberate plan to build the arsenal, obviously, to part of a world order plan, if you like. What is happening here at the moment, we've got the Hierophant card. So this is democracies, this is courts. The challenge to that is new starts. Okay, so for Russia's plan to succeed, it needs a continuation of the current conditions, particularly the current president of the US in power. The hopes and the fears, we hope there will be a rebalancing. The outcome card. Russia's going to do it tough. I feel this is financially as well, even though I haven't drawn any pentacles. I feel that it's still going to be, there's going to be a lot of pushback from democratic countries against Russia still. There is this anxiety here, not looking good, but also the anxiety that Russia is, this question was concerning weaponry. We've got the Page of Wands, so communication. This could also be, getting a draw to that page's ears, this could also be Russia perhaps launching a sonic attack in some way. We've got the Six of Pentacles. Again, it's attacking on all fronts, including in relation to its oligarchy. The Seven of Pentacles, achieving its goal, reviewing how it can achieve its goal, because there is a loss somewhere for Russia in 2020. There could be a sonic attack, is what I'm seeing. Russia's going to struggle in 2020 to really get ahead in relation to its grand plan. I feel that the threat to Russia is the democracies that will reinvigorate in 2020 in some way. With this Queen of Cups, the Queen of Wands, she's fairly determined. Okay, show me this Ten of Wands. This is carrying a heavy load. You can drop any of these sticks at any time. Show me this Ten of Wands in the outcome position for Russia and its arsenal. Show me this Ten of Wands. There's a loss here of money. a loss here for Russia. It's going to be kept out of something. Show me this Ten of Wands. Kept out of a deal. Yeah, okay. Okay, so the devil, the toxicity, and the need for new starts. Okay, so Russia's reputation from what is going on in the US is not good. The EU, it's fairly aggressive, and it's going to find it difficult to get the inroads that it desires. Because of this push for the truth from democracies. That's going to continue. That's not going to ease in 2020. So let's have a look at climate change, this relocation, whether it's from man-made disasters or whether it's from natural disasters. Particularly, we're seeing this playing out in relation to hotter temperatures, drought, and bushfires in Australia. So that's what I'm going to ask in relation to climate change. Are we going to see more of these disasters unfolding, and the relocation of people out of areas that may be more vulnerable to climate change and into population relocation? I think will start to occur now. It may not be slow, but it may be people now saying, okay, where is it? Where is a cooler place for me to live? Where is, shall I move down rather than up? Let's have a look. Show me climate change in 2020? Are we going to experience more of the natural disasters like we've seen in Australia at this time? Show me climate change in 2020. Okay, so the Hanged Man, we've got needing to see something from another perspective, but also not moving forward, challenged by the world. Okay, so what these cards are showing me, that climate change and this world is dressed in water and emotion. So what I'm feeling is abundance can't happen until you have the world recognizing that climate change is happening. The challenge here is that we're currently in the Hanged Man position. We're not seeing what's in front of us, and while some countries are, not enough aren't. I'm going to go back to this world card. We've got the sun and the moon in that as well. And a heavy emphasis on the water. So what I'm feeling is that there's we're going to get this polarization continuing that we've seen, flooding in one side of the world, fire in the other. There's going to be disappointment in relation to these events as well, unfortunately. And we've got the Sun card here in the past, hotter, drier conditions, weather conditions. Until we start to see that we need to actually all work together to change something. The Page of Cups, too little, too late, not enough being done. The King of Swords, the truth needing to come out, strength. We need climate leaders, basically, and we need the law, and this is what is sitting aside of this world card, endings and new beginnings. Until enough, but this is clarifying the Hanged Man. So there needs to be wholesale change and legislation and change in the way that we do things. But we've got the Moon card. There is confusion and a lack of clarity, unfortunately. People are acting very instinctively still in approving polluting industries. There's just not enough clarity, and of course there's going to be loss here as well. I think we're going to be enlightened in 2020 through the climate. This is restriction and the fear of restriction. Hot. I'm just feeling fires. I did ask about the Australian fires, but I feel that this will be in other places in summers coming up. I'm just getting a draw to the sun and also to the fire in the back of this card. The Moon card came up in the world. I was attracted to this or drawn to the moon. There's something to do with the poles. As well, we've had an acceleration of the pole movement of the poles that could continue to accelerate. There's something there around our poles, around fire, around water, and it's going to cause us to review. I feel it's going to be it's a hot summer for Australia. We've got global warming, basically, is what's happening. And until we start to come together and realise that the water is not going to flow, and we're going to have loss, unfortunately. I'm getting drawn to the heat, and I'm getting drawn to the water in these cards. The Queen of Pentacles at the moment, having enough resources, financial resources. This is in isolation as well. And we've got the Ace of Swords coming forward, the Truth. So, yeah, we're going to continue to experience loss through climate change disasters. I'm getting a real draw to the fire in those cards, and I feel that you could even have major eruptions of volcanoes. I'm just getting this image of things actually coming to a head in a lot of ways in 2020. And we're going to be forced to review the way that we do things. There's going to have to be legislative change, but we're not going to get to that position until we've lost enough. So unfortunately, that's our current trajectory, unless our leadership changes in the shorter term and we start to act. We have global warming. Global warming will be manifesting fairly significantly in 2020. All right, let's have a look at the division, hate speech, social media. Let's have a look at whether or not that is going to continue unabated, or whether there will be regulation. Now, there's been some self-regulation coming from the major technical companies. Facebook has a way to go. It seems to be the predominant platform for hate speech. It does affect our elections, our democratic, I guess, norms, our democratic systems. When we have this continual pushing of fake news, where the truth is hidden, where hate and division is amplified. Let's have a look at this hate speech in 2020. We're going to see it rise. Hate speech, of course, manifests in racism, in prejudice, in violence, okay, acts of terrorism. Show me this hate speech in 2020. Okay. We've got the Hierophant. Governments are going to actually have to step in. We've got the Queen of Wands. We've got people power, people voting with their feet, pushing their governments for action. We've got partisanship, though, unfortunately. But we have the Page of Swords, a slow-growing truth here, acknowledging the truth we all know. There needs to be victory at election time for a regulation to come forward. These platforms, there's a justice and a karmic aspect to these, and there needs to be change. It looks like there will be change coming. There will be a balancing coming up. Now, whether this is through self-regulation, I do feel it's actually the government moving to regulate. So I feel that the choice will be taken out of the technical companies' hands. There is regulation and legislation on its way, and it's not before time. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you've enjoyed those predictions for 2020. Everyone who particularly in Australia, in the path of those fires, please stay safe. Anyone who is experiencing these climate change, natural disasters, my heart goes out to you. This is a time of change, and it is a time for decision making. Whenever your next election is, choose your leaders wisely is probably the bottom line, or the council coming forward in this reading. The change is still in our hands. That was pretty clear throughout this reading. So keep that flame of motivation and passion alive to achieve the change that you want to see, not just for yourself, but for your children. Thank you for tuning in, viewers.